Malcolm Lockmancer Ironspire. The scent of oil and metal was, as always, a comfort. Malcolm Ironspire, though most knew him as Lockmancer, preferred the quiet precision of his workshop to the bustling city outside. Each tumbler, each ward, a tiny universe of possibility. He wasn't interested in simply keeping things locked. Oh no! He dreamed of locks that anticipated need, keys that resonated with intention. A foolish ambition, some said, for a locksmith. But Malcolm felt a pull, a strange echo in the workings of his craft, a whisper of something more. He'd been working on a particularly intricate commission, a safe for Old Man Hemlock, the collector of forgotten things. Hemlock claimed it wasn't about security, but about holding on to moments. A curious request, and one that stirred a restlessness in Malcolm. He felt, with sudden clarity, that his work wasn't just about mechanisms, but about capturing echoes, fragments of time, longing, possibility. He needed a different key. A key that didn't just open a lock, but understood it. The pursuit of this understanding led Malcolm down a rabbit hole of forgotten lore and eccentric scholars. He discovered texts hinting at quantum entanglement within lock mechanisms, the idea that a key, once attuned to a lock, retained a connection across time and space. Ridiculous, of course, yet, the more he experimented, the more he found anomalies. Locks that seemed to anticipate his touch, keys that vibrated with a faint energy. His workshop became a chaotic mess of gears, wires, and strange, glowing crystals. Old Man Hemlock, amused by Malcolm's obsession, began to supply him with increasingly bizarre components. A shard of a fallen star, a beetle preserved in amber, a melody etched onto a silver locket. Each piece felt significant, resonating with the strange energy Malcolm was beginning to harness. But he faced setbacks. Several attempts to create a truly attuned key resulted in spectacular, if harmless, explosions of sparks and smoke. His neighbors complained. His reputation suffered. But Malcolm pressed on, driven by a conviction he couldn't explain. Finally, after months of relentless work, he had it. A key forged from a meteorite fragment, inlaid with the silver locket's melody, and energized by the beetle's amber preservation. It pulsed with a soft, ethereal light. He returned to Old Man Hemlock's safe, the one he'd originally been commissioned to build. With trembling hands, he inserted the key. It didn't simply turn. It melted into the lock, becoming one with the mechanism. A wave of energy washed over the room. The safe didn't open. Instead, the air around it shimmered, and a vision bloomed. A fleeting glimpse of Hemlock as a young man, laughing with a woman in a sun-drenched garden. Hemlock gasped, tears welling in his eyes. I haven't thought of Amelia in decades. Malcolm believed he'd succeeded. He created a key that didn't unlock a safe, but unlocked memories. A key to the past. But the victory was short-lived. Hemlock, initially overjoyed, grew increasingly withdrawn. He became obsessed with reliving the past, neglecting the present. He demanded Malcolm create more keys, not for security, but for a constant stream of nostalgic visions. Malcolm found himself trapped, a facilitator of Hemlock's escapism. He discovered a disturbing side effect. Each memory unlocked seemed to drain a little of Hemlock's vitality, leaving him weaker and more frail. The key hadn't just unlocked memories, it had consumed them, and with them, Hemlock's life force. The city began to whisper about the Lockmancer's curse, the idea that his creation stole more than they protected. He attempted to destroy the key, but found it impossible to dismantle. The meteorite fragment was impervious to any tool he possessed. He'd opened a door he couldn't close, and was forced to confront the consequences of his ambition. Malcolm, haunted by his creation, retreated to his workshop. He didn't attempt to create new keys, but instead dedicated himself to understanding the energy he'd unleashed. He realized the problem wasn't the key itself, but the imbalance it created, a severing of the connection between past and present. He devised a counter-mechanism, a resonator that would anchor memories to the present, allowing them to be experienced without being consumed. He returned to Hemlock, now a shadow of his former self, and installed the resonator. Slowly, Hemlock began to regain his vitality, the weight of the past lifting from his shoulders. He remembered Amelia, not as a ghost, but as a cherished memory, enriching his present life. Malcolm, no longer the Lockmancer but simply Malcolm Ironspire, returned to his craft. He continued to build locks and keys, but with a newfound respect for the delicate balance between security and remembrance, between the past, present, and the echoes of what might be.